Back at Mount Panorama, the Repco Bathurst 12-hour qualifying day, not too far away from the big cars hitting the track around lunchtime here today. But for now, Group S on track for race number 2. And welcome back Alex Webster from Porsche Cars Australia alongside me. Dazzled us in commentary yesterday. You're getting your second start today and another solid field of cars out the track here for race number 2.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I'm looking for my contract. I don't know where it is. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll wait in haste for that. Yeah, look, very good morning this morning. The clouds are over, which means the track's going to be pretty good for our old cars. It's not too hot yet. Of course, running old cars up this mountain, it's pretty tough.
The humidity's kicked in the last hour or so here. We had a very calm morning with heavy fog around the district, but nothing over Mount Panorama, which was interesting to see. We look at the field here, a top 10 inversion once again from yesterday, so that really spiced up the racing for the fast guys from qualifying, like Terry Lawler that had to charge through, and Jeff Morgan in a race that went down to the final kilometre.
It sure did, yeah. It was really interesting, wasn't it? The race went a little bit longer than we thought, and as a result, a few cars, in fact, I think there was about 5 or 6 cars that got caught out on having no fuel, which was a little bit embarrassing, certainly for us, but probably more so for them. And of course, now they've got to start rear of grid. So guys like Doug Barber, who was running about third outright, is now starting all the way back from about number 29. So watch for him. The car 911, the Porsche 911 with the Martini stripes, yellow headlights, he'll be charging through.
So cars making their way around to form up for this race, regardless of whether they ran out of fuel or not. It was still a spicy end to proceedings yesterday. Jeff Morgan, who's been around for a long time in the sport, and we saw him in the Porsche Cup back in the 90s, and great to see him still running around after all these years.
It is. Look, Jeff loves the category. He says that to us, and guys like Terry Lawler, who run in lots of other categories as well, they come back to Group S because they love the camaraderie. It's good fun, it's clean racing, and just a great variety of cars. I think that's the great thing about our category is you've got cars like that on screen, a 1275 Sprite against things all the way right up to a 7-litre Corvette. So everything in between. The cars have different strengths, different weaknesses. It makes good racing.
Datsuns, Shelby Mustangs, a Di Tommaso Pantera. There's Tony Karanfilowski in the field as well, who's caught up in a lap 1 incident yesterday, starting from nearer the field. In fact, out of 36th position here today. The green flag waves at the back. Michael McElligott and James Calvert-Jones on the front row. Race number 2 of Group S on Super Saturday here at the mountain, with qualifying not too far away. Good start from the front row, and again, the third row strong like they were yesterday.
Yeah, and here you can see Andrew Whiteside on the outside in the gold 911. But James Calvert-Jones in number 40, he's going to take the lead going up Mountain Straight. A bit better start there from Tom Walstap. He had a bad one yesterday in the 928, but you can already see Jeff Morgan with lights ablaze in the green 911. He'll start to try and pick them off pretty quickly. And look out also for the Shelby of Terry Lawler. He's going to be coming up too. Yesterday, he took a little time, just pieced his way through over a few laps, and let's see what he does today. But you can see there's a gaggle of Porsches there, all coming through the first 4 positions, with Wayne Potts in the lone Datsun there, just coming through Murray's, and then the rest of the field that filters through. So again, you can see the variety. We've got Ross Jackson, unfortunately, in the Di Tommaso, obviously had an issue. He's being towed off and making sure we can stay under green.
Being towed back into the pits. He was starting from mid-pack in today's race. Everybody making it nicely through the first of the turns. They climb Mount Panorama for the first time here today in Group S. Their final race comes up later on this afternoon.
Yeah, look, we inverted the top 10 again from race 1, so that's why you saw Calvert-Jones and McElligott on the front row. So that will change in the last race this afternoon. It will go back to qualifying results, in which case you'll have Terry Lawler on pole, and you'll have Jeff Morgan in second place just next to him for race 3.
And Morgan already up into 5th position, make it 4th now across McPhillamy Park, so keep an eye on the green Porsche as they make their way down into the Repco Dipper here on lap 1. It's a timed race, of which there's just over 17 minutes of racing remaining here. To Whiteside, Calvert-Jones runs in second. Purvis, big lock up then from Calvert-Jones, and lucky not to make contact with our race leader, but that's absolutely messed up his run onto Conrod Straight. He's going to lose one, maybe two positions. And here comes Jeff Morgan down the inside. He's going to get 2 for 1 here on Conrod Straight.
Yeah, Jeff Morgan, he's going to be doing 240 plus kilometres now down Conrod. So he's got a bit of a speed advantage here across a couple of the other Porsches. And you can see he's already picked up Andrew Whiteside there. That was relatively easy. And now he's got a little bit of clean air in front of him. So he is now in front. And you'll see that now Terry Lawler in the Shelby has also picked up a couple. And it won't be until he gets to probably Hell Corner, he'll be maybe right over Jeff Morgan.
And here's Terry Lawler now making up another position. That puts him up into third. So in the space of a lap, he's up into the top 3 now as they make their way through to complete lap number 1 here at Mount Panorama. There's the 928 Porsche going through the final turn of Wallstab, who had a big tank slapper down here at Hell Corner. He's nicknamed Sideways, and he lived up to the reputation yesterday. He
sure did. He got a few social media feed prompts, that's for sure. So I think his followers went up on Instagram and YouTube. But Tom had a bit of a gearbox issue yesterday. He worked on the car overnight and this morning. He was a little bit worried to actually get out this morning, and good to see that the car's out there circulating. Already you can see now that the Shelby is starting to catch up with Jeff in the green 911. Spencer Rice in the Alpha just coming through there. He had an issue coming out of our paddock. Rob Burson in his 240Z must have an issue. He's coming into pit lane, unfortunately.
Shame, so 2 cars in the pits already. Velocity's made up 9 positions in the first lap after repairing that car overnight with that incident coming. Did they find the grille and the...
They actually did. We were in the paddock last night, and the teams from up the top of the hill came down and placed it on his car. So it was great to see. I don't think he's reinstalled it, but at least he's got a car.
For the weekend, they are collector's items these days. So as it was yesterday, Morgan and Lawler to the front from the 5th row on today's grid. And later today, we go to a top 10 from qualifying for the final race. So it's a mixed way of doing it. How the drivers receiving that?
We've never done it before. So for us, it's been an interesting test. And for the most part, I think everyone has thought it's been a bit of fun. It meant that these guys that are out the front normally actually had to work a little bit. And you can see we're only a couple of laps in, and they've got back to where they probably should be. But it's mixed it up, makes good better TV anyway, Matt.
Absolutely. Lawler looking to make the move here. Morgan pulls the right-hand side to the Mustang, taking on the Porsche on the way down into the chase.
About 10 kilometres now, difference, speed differential through the speed track there, so just enough to get past. I think you'll find Terry will actually just try and manage this. He couldn't fit any more fuel in that car yesterday, apparently. So I think he will try and make sure. Today's race probably will be a little bit, that was close with Spencer Rice there and James Calvert-Jones. Great driving to try and avoid that. But yes, Terry could not fit any more fuel in that car. And he said he was managing yesterday with rolling out of the throttle. And didn't quite make it.
So that would back up our claim. We would hear him coming out of the corner. He was so almost like a ghost car coming out of the corners.
He was, and he wasn't the only one. There was quite a few cars. Hugh Harrison was the same in his Alpha. There was a number of cars that were really light on fuel. And quite a few got caught out.
Nice battle pack brewing here in the bottom of the top 10 as they come through to start another lap. Doug Barbara's in that mix as well. He's in 13th position.
Yeah, so Doug's come back from 29th. He was one of the ones that ran out of fuel yesterday. You saw he very expertly put it off the track to when he ran out of fuel just coming through the cutting. So you can see Tom Wallstab and also Dave Baker giving a fair bit of room there, knowing that he's actually quite good, Doug Barber. He was up in 3rd yesterday, so he's starting to make his way through. He's now up into, I think it's now into 11th.
So up through Griffins, we go here with 12.5 minutes remaining. The gap is 2 seconds between Lawler and Morgan, who's on a good lap now, with a further 6.5 seconds back to the 3rd and 4th place battle. Werks and Wayne Potts. Happy birthday to Wayne Potts, incidentally. Turns 40 today. Nice way to do it at a racetrack.
Wayne has got that car just beautifully prepared. He drives it fantastic. He's one of the younger guys out there, and he's certainly doing it justice because he's really done a great job driving that car, which arguably is being outnumbered by some of the bigger horsepower cars.
Across the top of the mountain we go. It's a mixture of cars in this battle pack across through McPhillamy Park. So Barber has been released. He's up into 11th position now. And this is Leisure for 10th position now, but a few seconds down the road.
Exactly. Joe's a little bit more tentative over the top, shall we say, and so you can see now a bit of a conga line of cars lining up. The bottom of this, we'll get to Conrod Straight, unleash the fury on the Corvette, and there'll be the same elastic band between those two cars.
The MGs battling out here, the battle of the open tops. Past the Ridges Hotel here on the replay if you're watching our super screen coverage at the track, or on the live stream today. Repco Bathurst 12 hour under. Cloudier conditions are what we arrived at earlier today. Certainly the temperatures are up on yesterday. As the field make their way down to complete another lap. Lawler sits at 2 seconds in the fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 34.04. Just under 11 minutes of racing remains.
Yeah, Terry's about 1.5 seconds off what he did in qualifying, and Jeff's about on his pace for qualifying. So I think they're certainly doing what they need to do, and you can see that gap back to Purvis is starting to creep out. So again, watch for Doug Barber. He will still be in traffic, so he's only doing 2 minute 43s. But as he starts to hopefully make through, then he'll start to maybe make a bit more inroads towards those other Porsches. Andy Purvis, Wayne Potts in the Datsun, Andrew Whiteside, and then David Caneen, who did a great job leading yesterday about the first 2 or 3 laps.
So Barber has some clean track now to start lowering those lap times. It's a big move from 29th on the grid and competing with cars at different speeds. Lock up here into the chase.
Yeah, Warren Hodson, his little Sprite, now being chased by Matt McGrath, his 105 Alpha. Matt was one of the ones that came from rear of grid as well. He ran out of fuel. So he hung his head in shame, unfortunately, because he was having a great race yesterday, unfortunately, along with Graham Golson, who also, another Alpha, but ran out of fuel.
Seemed to be a popular trend yesterday during that race.
It was Tim Linus and the other 928. And you can see Graham Golson, who we just mentioned, he's at the back of that 3-car trio in his little Alpha 105.
It's good to see some familiar surnames returning to Mount Panorama. Here's a replay of the lock-up.
Yeah,
little Sprite down there in the chase.
Just got a little deep under brakes. So you can see the V8 of the 928 going up Mountain Straight. Pulled a bit of a gap there over Doug Selwood.
From 23rd up into 18th position yesterday for the 928. This is further down the field now. So the 9-car of East has copped a 5-second penalty. Now that would be for jumping the start. It'd normally be the case after a couple of laps.
I would have thought so. That'd be a jump start, unfortunately. You just mentioned Graham Golson. His father Ray, obviously a long-time competitor here in the big event, and he was growing up at this track as a kid, and now as a car dealer himself. He's a Porsche dealer, as well as a number of other brands in Canberra. So it's great to see him out here this weekend.
Alfa Romeo dealer too, if memory serves me right.
He certainly is. Yeah, absolutely.
Been racing here for a long time now. Here are our leaders, and they're disappearing from the rest of the field. There's a 16-second margin now back to Purvis, and they're trading fastest laps, these two. Terry Lawler will be keeping an eye on the fuel gauge as well as the mirror here as he comes through to complete another lap. Sits at 1.3 seconds and matched fairly similar in their lap times. Morgan sets his fastest lap of the race now, 2:33.5, as they make their way through Hill Corner and climb the mountain once again.
Yeah, and you can see the cars behind. So there's a gap there of about 17 seconds to Purvis, but then between 3rd and around about 7th, there's actually not that much in it. So there's a group of cars behind this that there's some good close dicing going on. So you can see Purvis there, and then a couple of seconds behind, there we go, Potts, Whiteside and Caneen. So they're all chasing down to try and get to the podium.
Purvis is one of those lucky guys in the top 10 whose position won't really change much going into this afternoon's race, should he stay where he is. His qualifying result was 4th yesterday. Here's Potts, that beautiful Datsun 280Z.
74 there, the 3-litre career of Andrew Whiteside. He started on the front row yesterday. Good to see that that car's been running well, and he's just had a freshen up over. The car has had a freshen up over the break.
Well, he may have had a freshen up too.
Maybe.
Beautiful gold livery that adorns this 911 as they cime up through the Shelford towards Solomon Park. These guys back in 4th and 5th position.
He just managed to get past Wayne Potts there, so I don't know if Wayne missed a gear or what it was, but he's managed to sneak past.
This car seems to be incredibly camera shy, the Potts car. Had dramas yesterday during the first qualifying session of the weekend.
You can see how Wayne's just floating that car beautifully through McPhillamy.
Heavily experienced in racing Datsuns and more known for his exploits in Group N competition.
Yeah, he's lucky enough to have a couple of race cars and be across 2 categories, so Group N and Group S are somewhat similar in the age category and also the specifications that we can run. Group N being touring cars and Group S being sports cars. So production sports cars from the 50s, 60s and 70s, and there's 3 different categories within that, and again there's races going on within races throughout the field. So Terry Lawler is actually 1966 car, so that's an S3 car. And then we've got the latest 70s cars, they're an SC. So from a point score point of view, everyone's actually getting different points for their different categories.
Even though the lap times are very wide, we will get lap traffic later on in this race. In fact, the leaders should be starting to encounter that soon. Off the track goes Potts now, so not the way he wants to celebrate the birthday as he speeds back on to the course in front of the Ridges Hotel, no doubt to the applause of the crowd up there.
Yeah, we know that that's a dangerous spot to leave the track.
Very.
In fact, Andrew Whiteside had a big crash just past that incident a number of years ago in a TCM race, so I always get a bit scared when I see a car going off through there.
And he still paid the price down at the final turn and lost a bit of heat out of those tyres too, taking to the outfield there at the chase. Behind him, Dave Caneen, he started up the front yesterday in the 555 Porsche to make their way up the mountain here in the closing stages. 5 minutes of racing remains plus 1 lap in the second race of the weekend for Group S. Their final one later on this afternoon. Go back-to-back with the Duggan Family Hotels combined sedans. Sponsor support acts this weekend, the Repco Bathurst 12-hour.
Yeah, like the other categories, we've been very lucky to have some great sponsors on board. So Exclusive Bodyworks, which is big thanks to Ron Goodman. Ron's been here in previous years and he's absolutely stunning 356 Porsche and brings a variety of his cars to display. Unfortunately, he's got a lot on and couldn't make it. He was originally entered to come, but Ron continued to sponsor us, which is absolutely brilliant, and we thank him for Exclusive Bodyworks, as well as My 105, Bowden's Own and VP Racing. So without their support, we wouldn't be racing here this weekend.
Ron Goodman there is a famous surname. If you remember NASCAR competition from the Calder Thunderdome in the days, one of the heavy hitters up there back in the 90s, and his car collection would be priceless now.
Yes, if you go searching on YouTube, you can certainly find some amazing videos of his car collection, and Ron does not know how to drive anything other than flat out, and in that 356, he puts the claim that he's the fastest 356 ever to be in the car. And I don't doubt that, he did that a few years ago, but that car is beautifully prepared. I haven't seen how much he spent over the years, but full credit where credit's due. He does a beautiful job.
I think he'd appreciate that comment you just made as well. They make their way out of Forest Elbow, and back to the field here. This is Wallstap in car number 3. These guys outside the top 10 in 12th, 13th and 14th position.
Oh, and Tommy has gone and put a move over Skyline. He's been stuck in behind Joe for a couple of laps now. He would have thought that that's the only place that I can try and get him. And then, of course, coming down Conrod, he's going to have to try and open the doors to try and keep Joe behind him. That's
the second time he's had a wild moment. I don't think it'll be the last. While they make their way down Conrod Straight, the leaders are heading up Mountain Straight. With a 30-second margin now back to our third-place driver, Purvis. Whiteside and Potts are still 4th and 5th. But that's now a 3-car battle with Dave Caneen joining into that one as well in a 555 car. Calvert Jones runs in 7th after starting on the front row of today's race. And we're starting to get the feels of what we saw yesterday, the leader capturing the lap cars. And this is where Jeff Morgan reeled him in.
He did, yeah, look, just coming past Harrison in the purple Cortina there. John had a bit of an issue there just before coming on pit straight yesterday. He actually broke a rocker, but he got that car fixed straight after the race and is back out there. Great to see. But you can see Terry's just opened up a little bit of a gap once more against over Jeff. So I think he's managing that result despite Jeff actually having the fastest lap time of the race.
Cost him 2 seconds going around that lap car. And now Lawler, this is where I can come back to him. He captures the 47 of Gibson, running back in 30th position, and now a lap down by our leader.
Yeah, Andrew Gibson driving the TR3A, the second oldest car in the field this weekend. So you can see the other older car being the Austin Healey there of Townsend. So you can see the breadth of cars from 1959 and 60 all the way right through to the late 70s.
Nice day to be in an open top as well.
Probably.
And how are you handling not being out there? I know you've done a bit of racing yourself. Is it playing on your mind and out there this weekend?
Look, as much as I'd love to be out there, I've too just had a freshened engine built. I haven't had a chance to run it in yet. And I really didn't think that Bathurst was the right place to run in an old engine. So anyway, that's the way it is. And we've got Phillip Island Classic coming up in about 3 weeks' time. There's over 450 cars entered for that classic event, and we've got over 50 cars entered for our grid. So it should be a lot of fun, and I'll be there for that one.
What's more daunting, doing that or doing this?
Don't know. Ask me this afternoon.
To give you an idea, he rolled him with a sore throat. Now, that's a commentator, if ever I know one. Earlier today, Alex Webster joining me in commentary for the Group S race, and it starts to wind down. Lawler going wide there at the final turn.
Yeah, he was giving Tammy Hotz a bit of a wide berth there, which was great. Tammy, the only female competitor in the grid this weekend, and great to see. She's recently joined our committee as well, so very much appreciate her joining. And she's running with her husband, Warren, who's out there in another spot.
Jeff Morgan clearing both of those cars on pit straight as he tries to stay in touch with Terry Lawler. Gap sits at 2.5 seconds now. He's comfortable in second, but then there's a long wait for the next group of cars to make their way up Mountain Straight.
And so you can see the time has just run out. That actually means that when Terry crosses the finish line, the start-finish line the next time, that will signify the last lap of the race. So I think this is where they got caught out yesterday. They thought time certain, and then the checker comes out. No, it's one more.
Yeah, and we thought Morgan read that because he slowed, didn't he? When there was the yellow flag down at turn 1.
Yeah, you picked it up, Matt. I should have picked it up as a racer, but missed it.
Extra set wise always help.
Exactly, yeah. I'm used to looking at flags from inside the car. So, yeah, Jeff had to back out of it because there was that car parked at turn 1 and then got going up Mountain Straight. But then, as you said, Terry had the spluttering that you heard on the microphone coming back through the audio, and he was right. It actually was running out of fuel. And going down Conrod, like Bathurst a few years ago.
Yes, very much a Jamie Whitcomb, Chaz Mostert situation, wasn't it? So it'll be 1 lap to go as they come by.
So Tim Linus and John Del Collo here in the Datsun. So Tim in the V8 Porsche, and then John Del Collo. John's actually one of the more recent members. That car has been a Group S car for many years. They're actually garaged next to each other. They're both from South Australia. They've both come over, so great to see them. I can see that actually there's a bit of smoke coming out from Tim's car, which, well, that's an engine. That's not good.
And he's just missed pit exit as well. It's oil, and he's going to spin on that. He better off just trying to pull that off into the grass now and park it up. That let go in a big way.
That did let go. That's a shame. That car has been a very, very reliable car for Tim for probably about 7 or 8 years. So that's a shame to see that actually occur.
So the South Australian bails out of this one in the 928 down there at the final turn of this race. And the message will go out to the leaders now because there will be some slippery stuff on the way down into Murray's.
Yeah, and you can see last lap's already been put up. So I think the checker's going to come out here, Matt, and they're going to throw it out. And there you go.
There it is. They come through to complete the final lap, and the win goes to Terry Lawler. They come through that smoke cloud at the final turn. Morgan will hold down second. It got down to 8/10 in the end, but Terry Lawler will be happy. There was enough fuel in the tank today.
Yeah, well driven by Terry and also by Jeff. They're class acts, both those guys. The quality of their cars, the quality of their driving, they're exemplary in everything that they do.
And that's why the margin was well out to 40 seconds as the rest of the field come on by to finish the race. Purvis should hold down third. Oh, see, this is the oil.
Just picked up that oil. He's going to be lucky to get out of that. Let's see if he can get it out of the sand. No.
5th position goes begging with a move down the inside. He found the oil trail from Linus's car at the final turn, and throws away a good result.
What a shame for David. He was going so well and he was trying to put a move there on Potts, but unfortunately was in the wrong place on the track.
Those sand traps very deep here at Mount Panorama, and that drops him right down the field for the final one today. A couple of cars stopping.
Graham Rutledge, yeah, Graham Rutledge in his TR6. Unfortunately, he's got an issue just through Murray's.
And Terry Lawler picks up the win, just 8 tenths ahead of Jeff Morgan. Andrew Purvis and Wayne Potts will be next. Over one side of that driver, James Calvert-Jones, who started from the pole with McElligott. They drop down to 7th and 8th. Spencer Rice and Dave Caneen in 10th position. I think that's going to keep dropping down the order.
I think so, yeah. You've got then followed up by Dave Baker in the big V8. Hugh Harrison is Alpha. Going through to Matt McGrath, who came from the back. Warren Hotz, who's husband of Tammy Hotz, is just a few places behind. And then rounding out, you've got a few of the finishers that finished a lap down. Dave Badgen and also Philip Power in his Ferrari 308.
Tony Karanfilowski got up to 23rd in the end from 36th on the grid, so he'll be in a decent position for later on today. Terry Lawler wins race number 2 here today of Group S. As we build up for qualifying, Alex Webster will join me later on today. Enjoying this.
Look forward to it, Matt. Thanks so much for having us. The
crowd settling in for qualifying, and a lot of Valentino Rossi fans in the house once again here as we build up for an all-important qualifying session. We'll be back soon. This is the Repco Bathurst 12 Hour.